screening I went to, I got this t-shirt, I got this bag, got sticky notes, a pen, trading cards, free poster right there, and then a mouse pad in this canister. It's pretty cool. So, more Marvel talk. Let's do this. Ant-Man stars Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michael Pena, Corey Stoll, and a lot of other talented actors. It follows the story of Hank Pym and Scott Lang. Basically, Scott Lang's just like this thief, but he's not like a dick, like a criminal, bad criminal. He's got a heart. So Michael Douglas, who was the original Ant-Man, Hank Pym, needs him, his thief skills, to become the Ant-Man to stop Darren Cross, who is creating the Yellow Jacket. I'll just leave it at that. If you've seen the trailers, you know what all that stuff is. Let's get on to the review. Ant-Man, I mean, whoever thought that Marvel would be able to make such a good movie about Ant-Man? Marvel has yet to make a bad movie still. I mean, they've had some missteps, but they weren't really bad movies. They were still entertaining, and this movie was just so good. I mean, they took this absurd story with the shrinking and the ant and everything, and they made it work, which, I mean, shouldn't surprise me too much, because they made a talking raccoon and a talking tree work, and managed to make me tear up with those characters. But still, I mean, you just gotta think, Ant-Man? No, it worked. I mean, we got some spectacular action sequences, some excellent performances and characters, a fun, smaller scale story, no pun intended, that wasn't like, an Avengers or Captain America or Winter Soldier story. It's just a simple heist movie, so it was something different. This movie was hilarious. Out of all the Marvel movies, I'd rank this at about number 6, behind Avengers 1 and 2, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the first Iron Man. First of all, let me just say, Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas are fantastic as Hank Pym, and I almost said Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's a great Paul Rudd. And Scott Lang. I mean, to me, Scott Lang was just a really relatable character. You understood, his motivations for everything. He wasn't like, Tony Stark, where he's rich and everything, and he doesn't have to deal with turning into a giant rage monster. And, I mean, he was just a relatable guy. You understood where he was coming from with everything. The whole story with his daughter was kind of a plot device. It was very obvious, but I still liked that they threw it in there. It added a lot of depth. It added depth to his character. Michael Douglas as Hank Pym had so much depth and was so great in this movie. An actor of this caliber, I mean, seeing actors like him in these movies is just a treat every time. With Robert Redford and Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson, just all these great actors come to these Marvel movies, and he just kills it in this role. Right from the beginning, I mean, you just know right away, like, oh yeah, this guy is awesome. Hank Pym is actually one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe in the comics, and so I was initially disappointed that they weren't using him as Ant-Man, but they made it work in this movie. I mean, this story that they told worked really well, and I was surprised. And Evangeline Lilly was fantastic. Her and Hank Pym had so many good scenes together, so much conflict and so much drama that actually really worked and just benefited the movie overall. The movie isn't really action-packed, but that kind of worked for me. We got Avengers Age of Ultron, which was just loaded with action, tons of explosions and excitement. This movie took things down a little bit, which actually really worked for me. And it was really different, like I said before. It was really different from all the other Marvel movies. I mean, this wasn't like a traditional superhero movie. Sure, it had some aspects of an origin story, but it was more of a heist movie. And I really loved that. I mean, I love heist movies, like Heat, Ocean's 11, stuff like that. It was like Mission Impossible and Ocean's 11 meets a Marvel movie. And if that doesn't sound awesome, I don't know what does. I really loved the ants in this movie. Like, I just like how they incorporated them into the story and everything. And the villain was, he was decent. He was serviceable. He was a lot better than, like, Malekith from Thor the Dark World. I thought he was, like, a middling villain. He was no Loki or Ultron or anything, but he was a serviceable villain. And Yellow Jacket kicked ass. Like, his costume was so cool. Made for an awesome final battle. And Michael Pena, you might remember him from Fury and End of Watch, was fantastic in this movie. He was so funny. I was laughing so freaking hard during his scenes. He was great. I loved him in this movie. He was just such a fun role. The set design, the visuals, the action sequences, all creative, really well done. This is definitely one of the better Marvel movies. I'm really excited to see what they do with the next movie, or, in the future of the Marvel Universe, what they do with Scott Lang and Hank Pym and Hope Van Dyne, which is Evangeline Lilly's character, by the way. I don't know why I didn't mention that. Whatever. I'm just super pumped. And also, 2 after-credit scenes. Mid-credit scene and after credits. Stick around. If you don't, well, that's your problem. I give this movie an A-, mainly because the villain wasn't, like, the best, and because the first 15 minutes really were kind of a little jumbled for me. It kind of felt like they were telling, like, 3 different stories. It was just, it kind of needed some time to establish itself. After it did, like, you just forget about those 15 minutes, you get on with the movie, and you have a blast. I loved Ant-Man. Check it out. Call me a Marvel fanboy all you want. I love these movies. I just don't care. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. All of that other stuff, whatever. Do whatever floats your boat. Thank you for watching.